select. Oh, cool.
Alright, it should be live.
Oh my god, the stream is live. Can we verify that before I do my bit? Because I can only do it once. You know, you can't recapture the same lightning and bob. Alright. So, my name is CSC Panda. I'll be shoutcasting today. We got this fine match that's about to play between the Sand Ninjas on blue side and then the Syndicate on red side. So we're just chugging right along through champion selects now. So it looks like I haven't actually done much research on what these teams play, but red side is going to go ahead and ban away Vlad and Pike, both meta bans. Pike maybe more so than Vlad. Blue side finishing up their banning phase. See what they go ahead and pick here. I'll be more interested in the picks than the bans because, like I said, I'm not really all familiar with what the players play, so I don't really know if they're banning based on each other's favorite picks or not. I know Anivia is not really all that in the meta right now, although Jinx is. And Kled definitely is, so. Definitely some meta picks getting banned on the side of Sand Ninjas over here. Meanwhile, Nautilus getting banned away for red side, also a very powerful pick, regardless of who's playing it. Alright, so starting off draft with a Lux pick coming in from blue side. Not sure where that's going to go. They could flex that mid or support as of right now. I always like seeing teams coming with flex picks first. Keep their opponents guessing what exactly they're going to play. Keep them on their toes so they can't get countered easily. The Syndicate going ahead and picking their support first, along with their jungler, who's Neon Jarvan, a nice aggressive early game jungler, strong duelist, hard to counter. Not a lot of champions that are very good against him, so that's a solid early pick. Janna as well. A lot of teams opt to pick their support first, so no surprise there. Nice versatile pick for the bot lane there. Meanwhile, Sand Ninja's coming in with a Xayah. Well, I'd like to see if they pair that up with the Rakan. It's not banned. The Rakan is open, but that would mean their Lux is going mid, so they'll kind of give up the volatility of that flex pick if they go ahead and opt for a Rakan here. And they might also go for their jungler as well in return, seeing as they'd be safe to do so, and it looks like that might be what they do. I mean, of course, Wukong, we haven't seen him for a while. I'm not sure what this team plays, but Wukong's definitely not in the meta, so I'll be interested to see if they take that monkey top lane, mid lane, or in the jungle. I've seen, you know, all of the above in his history. Probably more recently, he's been a dominating force in mid lane, but even that was still, what, 6 months, a year ago? So we'll see where they end up throwing that. Meanwhile, the Syndicate rounding out their first picking phase with a Jhin pick, a nice, you know, standard AD carry. He's in the meta. He's a pretty solid pick right now. Not much to say about that. Rounding out their bot lane here. First ban phase is starting. While they're banning, I'll talk a little bit more about the picks coming out here. Interesting to see a Vayne ban coming out from Sand Ninjas because the Syndicate have already picked their AD carry. So I wonder if they have a one-trick Vayne on their team that might, you know, take Vayne somewhere else, top lane, mid lane, you know, pull a Caps or maybe whip that thing out jungle. Back in the day, Vayne used to be a jungler, but not so much anymore. And like way back in the day, like season 2, she'd get picked every once in a while. But not so much anymore, so interesting ban. Meanwhile, Sylas Rakan coming out. Not weird at all to see the Rakan ban. As we talked about before, Rakan obviously pairs very well with Xayah. You have the great synergy between their kits. You know, it was meant to be. And then, you know, Sylas, a very meta pick. Sylas, a very strong pick. He's also a good flex pick, like mid lane or jungle. And then the Renekton ban coming out from blue side again to round out the ban pace. Meanwhile, Nico, hurry up, and it gets picked quickly by the Syndicate. No hesitation. Locking in that Nico. It looks like it's going to be most likely be a Nico top lane. That's what we've seen lately. However, it could go mid lane. You never know. Sand Ninja's going ahead and locking in Sejuani and Rengar, meaning that's probably a Rengar top and a Wukong mid. I don't know for sure. I have seen Sejuani top, but I'm going to go ahead and guess probably Rengar top as like maybe a counter pick to the Nico, but if it was, they just got pranked because it's a Nico mid lane and the Orin top lane. So All right, it looks like it is going to be a Rengar top lane and a Wukong mid lane. So a very aggressive, almost all AD team coming out from Sand Ninjas. That they have insane engage with Sejuani and Wukong, like massive wombo combo. They have pretty good answers to the dive coming out on the side of the Syndicate from the Jarvan ultimate and the Orin Horn. All the dive they have, they have good answers for it on pretty much all of their champions. So it'll be interesting to see how these team fights play out. I definitely think that the Syndicate has an edge in probably early game. Well, honestly, I feel like the Sand Ninjas team is probably better than the Syndicate's team, at least early and mid game. We'll probably fall off late game. Full AD team comp is never good. Plus, I mean, they do have the Lux support coming in, but not a lot of gold income for the Lux. And there are some heavy tanks on the side of the Syndicate with that Ornn and the Jarvan, which can opt for a tankier build if he wants to. So those things are going to be very hard to deal with late game. Being that the Sand Ninjas do have such an AD heavy team, so those tanks could just build flat armor, and on top of having such an AD heavy team, the only AP damage coming in from the support, even a mid lane Lux is not that great at bringing down tanks anyway. She's all burst damage. She's good against AD carries and mages and things she can one shot with her kit. Tanks not exactly falling under that umbrella, even with the mid lane Lux. And being that the Lux is support, I think you're going to see her struggling to have an impact in many of these mid-game fights unless she can find a binding on some of those key targets on the Jhin or on the Janna, maybe the Nico. Jhin obviously being relatively immobile, but there's tons of tools and tanks that can just stand in front of him and say, hey, you can't go in on me because I have a 3000 HP Ornn standing in front of me, charging at you with his Ornn Horn. Or I have a Jarvan flash ulting you, and now you're just stuck in this little helper arena and you're going to die. So, based on team compositions alone, I'd probably give the edge in this game to Blue's side if they can finish it out early. They have a stronger early game, I think. Lux Xayah definitely has lane priority versus Jhin Janna. Wukong is a insanely powerful mid lane pick. If he ends up going mid lane, though, I see he is planning on taking, or he did take teleport, so they might swap here and end up running the Wukong top lane because it would be very strange for a Wukong mid to be running Ignite. That would leave it with a Rengar mid, which does not make much sense at all. I suppose they just have teleport in the Wukong so he can answer the Ornn, but I think that would be a mistake. Honestly, I think you should definitely have Ignite on the Wukong because it just helps him with that kill pressure so much, especially since Wukong mid isn't as good as it used to be. They've nerfed the damage in his kit, nerfed lethality items to the point where he does struggle a little bit to one shot those champions, especially champions like Nico who can just press R and get that big shield, get that big AoE stun. So I'm a little concerned about that coming out from Sand Ninjas over here. But we'll see how it goes. Time will tell. We're almost done with the spectator delay here, so we'll be in the game shortly. We'll be right back after the spectator delay. All right, so we're finally loading into the game here. Get the action going pretty quick. I know nobody likes spectator delays. They aren't fun, but you got to do what you got to do. So we do what we can. Noticing, first Rengar took grasp of the Undying. That's a little bit of an interesting pick. I don't believe that's what you normally see Rengar take top lane, but you wouldn't normally see Rengar blind pick top lane into a tank either. So when trading with Ornn, maybe that'll prove extremely useful for him. It is a mid lane Wukong and the top lane Rengar. Wukong's taking Electrocute. That's pretty standard runes. across the board. Aftershock Lux is something we've been seeing a lot more of recently. It is pretty standard now. You know, a few patches ago, you might have been surprised by that, but it's such free tank stats, really good against dive teams like the Jarvan, like the Ornn. Just slam that easy snare out when they dive on you, and boom, you got a ton of extra armor and magic resist. So, Comet coming out from Janna is definitely a little more unorthodox. You know, normally you see Sun and Ares, so you get damage on her poke, but also extra shielding on her shields and on her ultimate on her heal. Fleet Footwork from Jhin is pretty standard. The other 80 carry runes aren't as good on him because of his 4-shot mechanic. Not any point in building attack speed really, so don't get a lot of value out of things like press the attack. Nico Comet, pretty standard. Jarvan Aftershock or an Aftershock, all very standard runes you'd expect to see from, you know, tanks running heavy crowd control. So been at 98% for a long time here. Let's load into the game. I am a little curious about the sorcerer secondary tree on Rengar there. I wonder what he's taking out. I would have definitely expected a precision secondary with maybe a triumph or maybe a coup de grace or the presence of mind, something like that. I feel like all those would be very helpful on Rengar. But I don't know for sure. It's been a while since I've looked closely into Rengar runes, especially Rengar top runes. So we'll see how it works out. All right, we're finally loading onto the Rift here. And my spectating client seems to be bugged. There we go. Oh, when did they add this? I can see timers on the Rift Herald and the dragons and all that. That's so cool. Okay. All right, loading onto the Rift, blue side, red side. Blue side looks like they might 5-man stack. They might even look to invade here. Meanwhile, red side going for the standard 5-point jungle defensive positions.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Blue side looking for some spicy plays here, but they're not going to find anything. Unless the Nikos... Oh, nah, they're fine. They do have a brutal level 1 on the side of Sand Ninjas here, so if the Syndicate do get caught out, it's not going to be good news for them. Nico and Jhin dropping defensive wards in their jungle just so they can keep an eye on any potential invading happening. I do like to... I think they put down a few too many wards here. I like to see, you know, maximum 1 ward invested in just early game tracking like this, because those wards really are going to time out before they can provide any use later in the game. But, you know, before they provide useful tracking information on where the jungler is, where he's going to go. So perhaps a little over investment here. Sejuani, you know, just starting red buff, and Jarvan starting his own red buff, so nothing too crazy going on here. Rengar did invest in ward into the top side jungle in that pixel bush there. That pixel bush ward is a little outdated, seeing in how late jungle camp spawn now. He might have left it just so you could see if Jarvan invades, but I really doubt that Jarvan would invade that early. Nice bind landing bot side. Lux and Xayah just getting a little bit of trading down here, looking to exert their lane pressure. Perhaps get an early lead over Jhin and Janna. We'll see how that plays out. I think I would expect Xayah and Lux to have a stronger early game. However, Janna is pretty strong in lane, so we'll see how that one works out. Wukong I definitely expect to get harassed, at least until he gets level 3. You know, once he gets level 3, he has the tools to kind of punish the Nico for stepping forward too far, but before then, he just has to kind of take the pain. I'm most curious to see how this Rengar-Ornn matchup goes topside. I haven't seen Rengar top lane in a while, and Rengar versus Orange seems like a bad matchup for Rengar, but he took Ignite, so he seems pretty confident that he can make it go well. We'll see what happens. Jarvan taking a decent amount of damage from his camps, but, you know, a notoriously strong early jungler who's looking to potentially make something happen bot side while he waits for that scuttle to come up. They don't have it warded. This could be big. Jarvan looking for the EQ. He finds it. He finds the knockup on Xayah. She might have to flash out. She does flash. He gets followed by a W snare from the Jhin, but it misses and she gets out. Meanwhile, Rengar and Sejuani finding an early first blood topside. I didn't even see that happen. But I guess that answers my question for how they're going to make that lane work. Use that early pushing power. Use that Ignite to cure a first blood. Force Ornn's teleport, excuse me, early. Meanwhile, secure a Scuttle Crab for Sejuani, while Jarvan trades on the other side of the map. Jarvan looks like he might look into Sejuani's jungle, maybe place a deep ward, try to keep track of where she is. Meanwhile, Sejuani is looking to gank mid lane, but if she does, she's probably going to get answered by Jarvan. No, Jarvan's looking for a gank bot lane. Nico should be safe here. Jarvan's coming back to assist. We might see Wukong go too deep here. The EQ lands on Wukong, but he dashes out of it, and he's looking for the kill on the Nico. She flashes out, but she's going to get found by the Sejuani stun and get murdered. Oh, Jarvan almost returns the favor onto Wukong, but doesn't quite find the damage with the Q. A nice snare over the wall secures the kill for the Xayah in a quick bot lane response, using the priority from those picks to go ahead and get that early kill. Roam first before the Jhin and the Janet camp. Love to see that happen. I love to see junglers take priority when they have, you know, laners that have this early lead, that have the pushing power, that have roaming power, that have the damage to do that, and say, hey, I'm going to get down during the jungle. I'm not scared because I know my laners are going to roam first because they have the lead here. So, well done by pretty much everyone on the side of Sandage is here. Excuse me. Can never remember their name. Alright, so returning to relative normalcy here. Wukong is down a little bit in CS, which you'd probably expect for an early game Wukong against Nico. You know, it is melee versus ranged. He doesn't quite have the items he needs to really be a threat to her yet, so probably expect that. Farm pretty even bot side. Rengar with a mild lead top lane. Jarvan looks like he might be looking to make something happen top lane. But Rengar looks like he's happy to just leave that wave frozen there, so it seems doubtful that Jarvan will get anything. I think this Jarvan's just wasting his time. Sejuani, meanwhile, recalling, going to clear her topside camps. She is even in farm with the Jarvan now, but thanks to this little stunt Jarvan's trying to pull, that he might actually get away with now. Rengar goes in looking for a trade onto the Ornn. Doesn't expect the Jarvan in the bush. Rengar has no flash. I don't expect he's going to get out of this. Sejuani's coming up to try to answer, but she's too late. Jarvan finds a kill onto the overextended top laner. That was a well done by Jarvan. I didn't think that would pay off, but Rengar got a little aggressive, had that wave frozen, but decided he wanted to harass the Ornn, and he lost his life for it. So, well done on the side of the Syndicate here. I hate it when I'm playing top lane and, you know, I get ganked by a jungler who's just hiding in that top bush. It's so hard to play around that. It's just like, that does feel bad. I feel for the Rengar, but you know what? You can't let yourself get that greedy. You gotta be aware of that possibility. First dragon that came up here was the Ocean Dragon. I'd like to see Sejuani, once she hits level 6 especially, and once Wukong hits level 6, which you already did, look to kind of try to take this camp at some point here. Wukong looking for heavy trade mid lane, but Nico's just going to press R and get out of it. Anyway, I'd like to see Sejuani, you know, pressure this Ocean Dragon, try to look to secure that for her teammates, because like we said, we do see a stronger bot lane in the Xylox early game. You know, it's a lot of damage coming out. I'd like to see, you know, the Wukong has obviously massive team fighting with his ultimate, so when Wukong's ultimate's up, he has the power to pretty much one-shot almost anybody, especially when it starts getting some lethality items. So, using those, you know, strong early game champions, you can look to try to secure those jungle objectives away, or at least force the Syndicate, you know, right side to fight over these camps. Sejuani's looking for a gank bot lane. She has the bush control worded. She knows that they don't know she's there. But the Syndicate smells something's fishy. They don't want to step up. Oh, they might have went too far forward. They have it warded, but is it too late? Sejuani's looking at ult. Jhin flashed out, and he didn't dodge the stun. The binding, the Glacial Prism finds it. Lux binding follows, and a quick kill is secured for the Xayah on the side of Sand Ninjas. So, nicely done. Nico's looking down to see if she can make something happen. Probably not going to find anything here. My guess is she's just trying to contest vision a little here. But I mean, you know, both bot laners on the side of the Sand Ninjas are still really healthy, so I can't see any hope of a 3v2 coming out here. Meanwhile, Sejuani's starting with the dragon, trying to get that Ocean Dragon secured for her team, using that kill advantage. Lux finds a nice double binding into an ultimate. Not going to get any kills, but takes a lot of damage down. Chunks the Janna, chunks the Nico to the point where they don't even want to think about contesting this dragon, and, you know, secure an easy Ocean Drake. And that's going to help Rengar a lot. You know, he's going to just keep sustaining up through this Ornn poke. That's going to help Wukong a lot. You know, really helpful against all that poke in the range versus melee matchup. That's great. That's fantastic. Xayah Lux especially loves that. She loves the mana regen. She can just spam her abilities in lane. That's a really nice dragon for this team to get early game. And it was well danced over. You know, I love to see teams take advantage of the early priority to get those jungle camps, get the big ones. You know, Rift Herald, dragons, scuttle crabs, things like that. Speaking of scuttle crabs, Jarvan's trying to take this one, but Sejuani and Wukong are wise to it, and they're just going to waltz right in and just say thanks for the leash and take it for themselves. Because what can Red Side do about it? The Sand Ninjas over here just have such a strong early game team that there's not really anything they can do about it. So, again, good drafts for the early game here. We'll see if this ends up paying off in the later game. I fear that if this game goes too late, the draft might end up favoring the Syndicate on Red side, being that, you know, Blue side does have pretty much an all AD team, and Red side does have such heavy dive to get on that Lux, to get on that Xayah. But if the game doesn't go that long, it doesn't go that long, and, you know, the armor can't be built, and the tanks are not nearly as useful. So Rift Herald is on the map now. I think it's probably a little bit early for Sejuani to start trying to mess with that, try to take that away, but I would like to see her, you know, start trying to get priority around that, say, hey, let's get some control wars down, let's make sure we have control over this area of the map, so when the time comes, and it will come, you know, when someone finds a kill, or just after a good recall, and Wukong's full health, full mana, you know, maybe has level 11, level 2 ult, something like that, they can say, hey, let's just force a fight over this. Meanwhile, I'm not even paying attention. Lux must have found a binding onto the Jhin, and they just pick up a kill bot lane, but she does end up trading her life for it. Ultimately, I'd say that's almost certainly worth it. You know, the killing over to Janna on the side of the Syndicate, and, you know, the kill did also go over to the Lux, I believe, on the side of the the Sand Ninjas here. So, you know, obviously both supports got the kill, which is not ideal, but if I had to make the choice, I'd much rather have a support Lux with an extra kill than a support Janna with an extra kill. You know, the damage she can bring. Meanwhile, Wukong and Sejuani looking like something happened on this Nico. She tries to get out. I'm surprised Wukong didn't ult there. It would have bought enough time. Oh, Sejuani didn't have ult. Okay, never mind. Never mind. That was fine. That was well done. Good harass down onto the Nico there. Showing her who's boss, pushing for priority in that jungle, like we said. Just Sejuani getting their face in there saying, hey, look, I'm the man. I get to do what I want in this jungle, and you can't do anything about it. Wukong getting a little bit more trade down now on the Nico here, looking to take advantage of the Hex Drinker he's purchased, which is a fantastic item against, you know, AP champions like Nico. And she is going AP. No attack speed Nico in this game. Sorry to disappoint you. Meanwhile, Rengar's got his teammate. That's a pretty big item spike for him. That, you know, makes him really difficult to trade with. The Ornn seems to be doing okay. He's, you know, rushed his Ninja Tabby. Very good item. Meanwhile, Jarvan looking to make a gank happen bot lane. Blue side is a little pushed up. A nice W snare finds the Jinx, or the Lux, but did Jarvan fail his EQ over the wall? Oh, that would have been a kill for sure, I think. Or at least a forced flash. That is a little disappointing. That was a good setup. I still don't think Blue side you're even aware that Jarvan's in that river there. So one thing I would like to see happen. Ooh, Lux hitting a nice double snare and finding an ultimate onto both Janna, and Jhin, but they're not going to quite have the damage to kill it. Meanwhile, Jarvan's here for the return gank and finds the kill on a Xayah that pushed up a little too far. Jhin, the curtain call, lands all 3 shots, but doesn't hit the 4th one. Luxan is a nice binding of their tower. She's landing a lot of damage onto the Jarvan, who can't finish the dive. Sejuani's here to try to save the day, but she doesn't have the backup to go in on this one. She's just going to clear some vision and walk away. Try to save the tower. Wukong did a recall. He looks like he's heading bot side. They might go for something cheeky here. See if red side gets a little greedy, tries to go for some plates. Rengar taking advantage of the Ornn teleport. Ornn did teleport in that last fight. He went bot lane and tried to support his team. They didn't really need it, but he's actually going to end up trading a lot for that. He's already lost 2 plates, and Rengar is pushing this tower really fast. So that tower is more than half dead. 3 plates have fallen already. I don't know if that was worth it for red side. It was close. It was a good trade by Rengar, you know, forcing the Ornn to lose so much tower plating for his kill, or for the kill they got bot side. So good answer on the side of the Sand Ninjas here. Like to see good answers, stuff like that. It was a good proactive idea on the side of the Syndicate, but you hate to see, you know, 3 plates go over to a solo lane Rengar like that, just that quick. Wukong might be a little bit too far pushed up with this Sejuani here. Looking like something happen mid lane, but Jarvan and Janna are both there to answer. Sejuani's just gonna fall, and Wukong should be fine. The Ornn horn does get blown, but it doesn't find its target. Red side's looking to go after this dragon. They got the dragon on their minds. So this is probably going to be a mountain dragon going over for red side here. You know, Lux and Xayah got to do their best to stop it, but what can they do really? A nice binding is going to be thrown over the wall. Meanwhile, Lux ults, doesn't quite have the damage to secure it, and Jarvan smites that dragon. But Rengar is just going to town on this tower because Ornn was yet again at the dragon here, and he's going to lose first tower to Rengar top lane. So I think if you're the Sand Ninjas, you're okay with that. You got your solo lane Rengar a bunch of kills from, or a bunch of golds from that first tower dropping. So Jarvan heading back into his jungle here, bot side, or looking for maybe a cheeky gank on the Sand Ninjas, but mostly he's just going to clear his ground. So right now, where we are in the game, this is where blue team like hit their stride. They have a Rengar who just knocked his tower down. He can look to roam. He's almost got his Black Cleaver. He's stealing away the enemy red buff right now. He is really strong. Wukong, he's close to level 11. He's about to get level 2 ultimate. He'll be really strong. Sejuani, ultimate, you know, very powerful tool for engaging in these mid-game fights. Speaking of Sejuani, she's looking to get aggressive in Jarvan's jungle, find a little trade damage on him, but he's out of there. He's got all his camps, so he's totally okay with that. I'd like to see Sejuani use, so she knows Jarvan's low. They should head bot side right now and look to dive or force Janna off their tower. It doesn't look like they're going to do that, unfortunately, but they definitely have the damage for it. Looks like Rengar is looking to try to get a kill down on this Jarvan. Oh, Jarvan walks right into it. Rengar misses his bullet strike. That's unfortunate because it probably would have been a kill, but either way, this jungler cannot catch a break. Meanwhile, Sejuani is looking bot side. She does have her ultimate available, but her team's not really there to push the wave, and Nico's there to answer the push. So not much going to come out of that. I would have liked to see Wukong roam down with her. I think a 4-man dive on the bot side would have netted them a quick double kill and a tower there. So I would like to see a little bit of a more proactive play come out of this team, seeing that they do have such strong medium ultimates. But they still do have their ultimates. They might decide they want to look, you know, for a safer play and try to force down the Herald, try to secure towers that way. You know, not go for any risky dives. Try to slowly squeeze the Syndicate out of their towers, which is a fine play. But I'd like to see some more control wards coming out. You know, getting some vision priority in this jungle here, because you know, for as strong as blue side's players are, there aren't many deep wards in the red jungle. You know, for as much as they've been running around, it does look like Ornn is going for, she's face checking the Sejuani, but Sejuani's only level 9. She's forced to flash out from the Jarvan, but she does get to safety. And that might free up the, that frees up priority for the Herald to go over to red side here, which is not what you want to see. At least not if you're blue side here. Rengar does look like he's poisoning himself. He's ready for a cheeky play here. Try to go for some kind of insane fight. Swanny's got her ultimate. Wukong's looking her own up, but they have vision on them. They're just going to back away. So not much is going to happen right now. Lux got her sweeper. Must have completed her quest. She's just going to go ahead and keep vision control bot side. Try to make sure they don't die to any more Jarvan ganks. You always hate to see that. And I'd just like to see the Wukong and the Sejuani kind of use their ults in tandem here, you know? Roam across the map, probably make a dive bot side, or at least a fight over Herald and try to use their ultimates to get some kind of priority here. Find an objective, find something. If they don't get this game snowballing, I think they're going to lose. They are up in gold right now, which is good, and they should try to stay that way. Keep up the pressure. And all summoner spells, nearly all summoner spells are available on the side of the blue side as well. All of them are available on the red side. There has been a lot of fighting lately. Rengar's looking to make something happen bot side. He's hiding in the bush. The old Jarvan strat. Sejuani goes ahead and ults on the Janna. A teleport's coming in from the Wukong, but he's too late. He's not going to see anything. Meanwhile, Jin looking for the trade kill, but doesn't quite find it. The first shot doesn't land. Ornn is here, but everybody's just going to walk away. It's too late. Sorry, Ornn. Nico is roaming down. She might be looking to set up a dive here. They know that blue side just blew most of their key ultimates. Jarvan is topside, going to match the Zion and Lux, but I don't know if he has enough damage. Jin forced to recall. Looks like a dive is not going to happen. Wukong getting a little aggressive on the Ornn. Nico's there to answer it. Is he in trouble? He might be if he can't dodge the snare. Where is it? Oh, she didn't dodge it. Ornn's going to go in on him. He's going to blow the Ornn horn. Wukong looking for a cheesy kill on the Nico, but I don't think he has the damage to find it. Where's the Ornn horn? There it is. Ignite coming out, the Wukong, the Ornn horn's going to find him, and the Nico snare is going to secure the kill. Meanwhile, Sejuani, based off more than she get 2, trying to help him, and the Nico's going to flash out and find the kill under tower. That's double kill to the mid laner. Red side. So that was very well played. Rengar might be looking to find a kill on the Nico. He does have his ultimate. He's showing up bot lane, kind of mop up the minions that are hitting tower now, but Ornn is there to kind of body block for her, so she's just going to recall, get out safely, and all eyes are now on the next dragon, Cloud Dragon spawning, so we'll see how that goes. Things are not looking too great for blue side right now, I gotta be honest. They kind of blew their early game lead. I think things only get worse from here. Maybe they can prove me wrong, but if you twisted my arm and told me to pick a winner right now, I would say red side. Jin, Janna, Jarvan looking to throw down that topside tower. I think they're going to get it too. There's not a lot to answer them. There's a Wukong coming up, but I don't think he can 1v3, and if he tries, he's probably just going to get clapped, so... blue side could look to take Dragon in response, and it looks like they are looking to get aggressive. Rengar's going for some heavy trading on Ornn, trying to shove him off this mini wave and get priority for the Dragon. Meanwhile, Sejuani's just going to go ahead and start it. They trade tower for it, but if they can get this Dragon, that's not the worst trade in the world. That tower was probably going to go down soon anyway, so... not too bad. Rengar distracting Ornn with some heavy trading. Both of them taking some big damage. Ornn probably a little worse for wear than Rengar there. So Sejuani's about to go ahead and knock down that dragon and secure the second Drake of the game for blue side. 100 gold in their pocket too, never a bad thing. And now we got the 80 carries from both sides sieging mid lane towers. We'll see what happens. Both teams at this point definitely have the tools in their kits to win a team fight, so the only question in my mind is execution. Sejuani looking boss side, trying to find a kill on the damaged Ornn. She's not going to find the Glacial Prism, but Rengar's looking for the ultimate. He's not quite going to find it. He's going to back off and go for tower instead. Not a bad idea. They do force Ornn's flash. It's a pretty big cooldown to lose. In contrast, blue side didn't lose any flashes at all, just the Glacial Prism from Sejuani, which is obviously on a much lower cooldown. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It looks like 120 seconds right now. You know, flash being a 5-minute cooldown. Big difference there, so. Alright, so both teams kind of grouping around mid lane here, looking to ARAM it up a little bit. And that's never an unfun thing to watch, right? We all like watching ARAM from time to time, so. We'll see how this goes. Dragon's not up for a while. Neither team feels like contesting Baron. Thrift Herald did end up going down uncontested, so they never fought over that thing once, which is a little disappointing. Wukong looking to get a push going in top lane, get that priority going. But everybody's just kind of chilling right now. Lux may throw out a binding or two, but not much is really going on for the time being. Both teams are just kind of building up their strength, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right battle to take. Ugh. So, like I was saying, both teams here definitely have the tools to win the next fight. The gold is relatively even. Those big tanks are only starting to be able to stack armor on the side of the red side here. Jarvan has very little armor. Ornn does have his upgraded Sunfire cape, so that's a little spooky to see. Ninja Tabby as well into Warden's Mail double cloth armor. So this guy's starting to get pretty big, starting to get pretty hard to kill. Rengar does a little Black Cleaver though, so he's opting for a a more tanky bruiser build that will help him shred the armor a little better. Will help him kind of burn through those tanks over time. He does look like he's building to split push the Ornn rather than to like team fight and look for one shots. Being that he is Rengar, I doubt he'll have a problem one-shotting 80 carries anyway, by the nature of what he is, but that being said, that's not exactly what he's building for. He is building for that 1v1 on the sideline, so I'll be interested to see how that works out for him late game. My gut says not very well. I think, no matter how 1v1 Rengar tries to build, Ornn's just going to stack armor and win that every time, but we'll see what happens. I haven't seen a top lane Rengar in a while, so I'm curious. Meanwhile, it looks like the mid lane tower might fall in favor of blue side here. They're sieging it, but Jarvan's looking to answer with the Ornn Horn. Potentially a nice Lux binding bands. A nice Lux binding lands, but she doesn't have the damage to follow it up with. And Neeko, licking her wounds a little bit, but she's just fine. It doesn't do much damage. So, both junglers, both junglers now showing up mid lane to kind of try to hold these towers. 3-on-3 here. Ornn is looking to answer the Wukong. Blue side's doing a good job of kind of pincering top and mid lane, saying you're either going to lose mid lane tower or you're going to lose top lane tower, or you're going to fight us at one of them and lose. So they're doing a good job of that. Janna and Jhin looking to roam from bot side and try to help protect this tower, but Rengar is popping his ultimate. So blue side know they're coming, so Joanne's looking for a Glacial Prison. She's not going to quite find it. Doesn't opt to throw that thing out just yet. Probably because they don't have everybody quite there yet. Lux just used her binding. A nice snare lands from the Neeko. She does land a Q into W as well. Jarvan looking for the cage. He finds it. A nice bouncing grenade lands from the Jhin. And Neeko Flash R's locks up the Rengar as well. That's 2 dead on blue side. Wukong's going to teleport in, but the fight's already over. Ornn matches him, teleport, says, you want to teleport in lane? I'm going to follow you and teleport in lane also. A nice 4-on-4 at the end of the day with 2 dead on blue side. And I think this game just only gets more and more brutal for Sanages as you go on here. They just have not enough ways to deal with this tanky front line being built by red side here. They don't have the burn. Wukong's going to try though. He's EQing it on the Ornn. He's going to ult on the get a nice 4-man ultimate, but he just doesn't have damage to do much. The Ornn Horn gets blown. A nice disengage. He misses the knockup though. Not much happens. Wukong ultimate blown. No deaths. Red side looking to secure this dragon. And it is another ocean dragon, so this will kind of equalize the sustain game across both teams here if they can pick up this sweet, sweet green beast. Lux doing some sweeping, trying to find new vision, get some control over their jungle, exert a little power. I'm sure she'll go for a bind, but maybe for a cheeky steal with her ultimate. She doesn't quite find it. Jarvan just easily smites that away, and the Syndicate look to just back away, and it looks like they succeeded. Red side using their hesitancy to keep fighting, using their backing off as a way to kind of exert some vision control back over their jungle. Get some control wards down, clear out some vision, try to regain a little bit of control over this game that they seem to just slowly be losing control of. This control of the map is just kind of slipping out of blue side's hands into the hands of the Syndicate here. And I don't really see a way to stop it, unfortunately. Wukong did finally get his Duskblade built, so he's gonna be a very big threat to the Jhin and the Janna here if you can find him. But that lethality is pretty pointless against Jarvan and against Ornn here. Like, they're just stacking armor, they don't care. And the Neeko, like, sure, if you find the Neeko, that's not terrible, I guess, but she's just gonna press R, and then she gets a giant shield, and she's gonna stun you, and then you're probably just gonna die. So, like, you can't really go on her either. Red side looking to just group and kind of push down this bot lane tower for free here, and I think blue side look like they might be trying to get some Baron priority as a response here. Try to get some control over the area. Maybe look for a fight. Maybe force some kills. The Glacial Prism does come out from Sejuani. It does find Jarvan, but I feel like he's just going to EQ away, and he's going to get to safety. But Wukong's looking for the flank. Doesn't quite find it. Nice snare coming out from Nico. Stops Sejuani in his tracks. And that just felt really, really forced from blue side. They weren't really all that coordinated. You know, they burned their big cooldowns on the Jarvan, who's just going to EQ away and take it like it's nothing. So they are going to go ahead and use that little chip damage they got to force down top lane tower here. Try to, you know, trade that bot lane tower they lost a little while ago. But again, you know, not much happening. A slight goal lead still in favor of blue side here, but that really doesn't mean much at this point in the game. You know, it's 42.9k to 41.3k for anybody who cares, but that's not a big difference. You know, 1,500 gold 28 minutes into the game. That's half an item. Not big news. The next dragon coming up is going to be another mountain dragon. So if red side can secure themselves that dragon, they'll have pretty nuts pushing power in addition to their diving power that they already have. That'll help them really take this Baron, which they might otherwise struggle to take. They don't have a lot of heavy DPS. Even their AD carry is more of a like bursty AD carry, you know. Jhin with his 4-shot mechanic, you know, in the middle of the shot, she's not really doing all that much. She doesn't have as high DPS against targets like Baron as some other AD carries might. Same thing with Nico. She's a very, you know, bursty champion, and most of her damage mid lane game actually is going to come from her ultimate. So she doesn't have that. She's not really doing much. Oh, Jhin gets found by a binding, but blue side doesn't like to do anything with it. They don't really have the Wukong there to follow up. That would have been perhaps not a bad fight to take if they only had the resources there to follow it up with. Lux sweeping for some vision priority top side, trying to regain control of this map here, trying to make sure they can control the Baron. They can look to pressure that objective. Sejuani looks like she might be trying to get a little fight started here. She's getting a little aggressive, looking for the W onto Jarvan, trying to get some slowing down. They're sieging, they're pushing this mid lane tower. Rengar and Wukong meanwhile are looking to potentially dive the Jhin, I'm guessing. If he steps up a little too far, and it looks like he did step up too far. Wukong flashes to try to ult him. Jhin flashes away in a really nice flash. Wukong, however, ults him and follows, and they trade shutdown glove on Jhin for a Wukong kill. But meanwhile, red side take this advantage to force a 3v3 in the mid lane, excuse me, and end up finding kills onto Sejuani and Xayah. So an over-aggressive push on the blue side answered very soundly with nice retaliation from red side hand. Meanwhile, Ornn, you know, he wasn't even in that fight. He didn't have his teleport up. He's just chilling on the sideline, slapping down towers. So that was, you know, not a good fight at all. You hate to see that, honestly. And at this point, it's just like, how can blue team win? You know, they get outskilled anyway, and now the gold is even, so they don't even have a lead anymore. So what are they gonna do? Ornn does find a knockup on a Jinx onto Lux, forces her flash, hits the Gornhorn anyway, but she's going to go ahead and BM recall in front of him. He flashes to try to secure the kill, but doesn't quite find it. But Janna, flashing over the wall, does find the kill, but she gets traded by the Wukong. What a crazy fight. Meanwhile, Rengar's on the flank. He's looking to continue the fight, but he gets just slapped down by the Ornn. Wukong going deep, trying to kill the Nico. She's not quite going to find it yet. Nico's going to press R, but before she can do it, he gets autoed, and Electrocute brings her down. Jarvan EQing over the wall, but she's going to get followed by the Sejuani. Ooh, meanwhile, the Glacial Prism comes out. A flash from the Xayah is masked by a flash from the Wukong, or from the Jarvan. Meanwhile, Wukong goes in on Jhin, but doesn't quite find anything. He just gets 1v1. He gets beat down. His team wasn't there. Wow, a lot just happened. And that was some crazy stuff going down. Not done yet. The curtain call coming out from Jhin, trying to steal the dragon away. He doesn't quite find it. Sejuani does find the smite. Jarvan goes in to try to steal it away, but he just gets stunned up and killed. A nice feather from Xayah goes ahead and secures the kill. Overall, I think that was a 4 for 3 in favor of blue side, so not bad. That could have been worse for them. Red side did get a little over-aggressive. You know, whenever your Janna is flashing over inhibitor tower walls, there's probably something wrong. You should probably stop and rethink your strategy at that point. But regardless, not bad playing on the side of blue, on the blue side over here. And I apologize for saying blue side over and over again. For some reason, I cannot, for the life of me, remember their team name. But that's okay. So, after all that's done, after all the dust settles, what all comes out of that? Not much. The gold is still basically even. Like I said, it was a 4-for-3 in favor of blue side, and they did go ahead and secure that dragon, which is nice. It was a cloud dragon, so, you know, Rengar likes to see that. Sejuani likes to see that. Everybody likes to see that. You know, you like to see dragons. They're nice, but they don't usually win the game. You know, one dragon is not usually the make or break moment. Xayah looking to get a little aggressive. She face checks into a Jarvan and into the whole red team that's just waiting in that bush that they somehow managed to sneak into. They swept their way in there. Xayah dies. I can only imagine red side's looking to start up his Baron. And start they will. They walk the Ornn down. Luhong is looking for a teleport. He is teleporting in. I'm not sure what they can do though. Their AD carry is dead, and they got these big tanks to burn through. A nice 4-man Nico starting to a 4-man Nico. Our lands. 4-man Ornn. Oh my god, you hate to see that if you're blue side. And that's a clean wipe for the Syndicate. They're going to go ahead and ace the entire blue team, take the Baron, and I have to imagine after this, take their base. That's going to be rough to come back from. That was just a crazy team fight. I guess you know, if you're blue side, you can't go up like that. You can't eat the 4-man Nico snare because you're just going to get rocked after that. There's so much follow-up from red side here. You know, they have the curtain call and the Ornn horn and the Jarvan ults and the Nico ults of all things. So it's like you just can't do that. So I'll be interested to see how hard a red team pushes with this Baron. I think they definitely have the tools to at least go for an inhibitor here and force down this Elder Dragon when it spawns. Elder Dragon won't spawn for a while here. It's two minutes until the next Elder Dragon, so they will still have their Baron buff.
You will learn what beauty truly is.
So we'll see. We'll see how much they can get out this push. I doubt that blue side is going to be able to successfully hold against this Baron buff, against this now 4k gold lead or 3k gold lead that red side has, against, you know, the late game Ornn, late game Jarvan that are just stacking full armor. There is some magic resist on the Jarvan. I guess they're respecting the Lux a little bit, but they're mostly just stacking armor. Like this Ornn, right? He's got 160, or sorry, not 169. He's got 402 armor already. He takes 80% reduced physical damage. The Jarvan, he's got 275 armor, 73% reduced physical damage. Like, these are crazy numbers. It's impossible to burn these guys down if you got a full AD team. So, like, this is going to be rough for them. They are going to look to hold. Ornn is splitting against the Wukong, and he just doesn't care at all. He's just whacking away at that tower. Meanwhile, Wukong, all he can do is clear the wave. It looks like the red team might be trying to look for a dive over this tower. They want this tower bad. They're going to get a Nico auto attack that secures the tower. Ornn's looking for, like, he might be going for more here. Jarvan, someone needs to be pushing mid lane away. Keep pressure there. Jarvan's going to push mid lane. Get that wave crashing. Meanwhile, a nice Nico snare lands, getting some chip damage down to the Sejuani. A return binding from Lux is going to find its way onto this tanky Ornn here, but he just shrugs it off like it's nothing. Keeps blowing away. And Jarvan does get the wave pushing mid lane, but then immediately comes back bot lane. It looks like they are looking to go for a dive here. They are blue side is aware of it. They have wards in the jungle here. I would love to see one of the stronger members on the side of the blue side or red side here push mid lane and bring that wave up, which it looks like they're doing now. Might just go for a 5-man dive on this mid lane tower here. I do like having Ornn in the side lane. He does beat. Oh, looks like blue side's trying to go in on the Ornn, but he's gonna just whack his way out of there. Okay, what should happen here? I'd like to see red side have Ornn in the side lane, you know, Baron buffing those minions, and then have the rest of the team mid lane just shoving that mid lane tower down. Of course, you know, after they take Elder Dragon. This is a good Elder Dragon. a Rengar and a Wukong that went just a little bit too deep. Curtain call is good follow-up, forces this flash out of the Lux and the Sejuani, but Red Sea is probably not done yet. I can't imagine they're not going to just go mid and run it down and in. So definitely over-aggressive on blue side here, trying to contest the Elder Dragon. If anything, you know, maybe they have the Sejuani Q over the wall and try to steal it. But Jarvan going for the E-Flash Q over the wall, trying to find the Lux and the Xayah, but he doesn't even have his ultimate. He does have a stopwatch, however, abuses that, waits for his team to get there. They do find the kill onto the Lux after much delay, and they are going to also go ahead and find this inhibitor and look to end the game. There's, you know, 10-second respawn timers on Wukong and Rengar, 40 seconds on Sejuani, 30 seconds on Lux. Xayah is the only one alive. These towers are melting like butter, and Red Side's going to end the game right here, right now. A clean sweep here for the Syndicate. Just a pretty nicely fought game.